I'd like to call the Tri-Lakes Management District meeting for Wednesday, July 16th, 2025 at 9 a.m. to order. Number 2, please stand for Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Number 3, roll call, starting from my left.
Atkins here.
Asdell here.
Baker.
Samuelstead here.
Okay, number 4, certified posting of the meeting agenda, please.
The meeting was posted on July 14th, Daily Tribune, 3:03 p.m., Town Hall, 3:15, Nakusa Port Edward State Bank, 3:24, and Quick Trip, 3:19.
Thank you. Number 5, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Number 6, elector citizen comments. Were any cards turned in? All right. Dispense with number 6. No action contemplated except possible referral to future agendas. Number 7, information updates, meeting recaps, current events, and announcements. Brad?
Just stuff on the dam, but I can do that a little bit later.
All right. Mike?
Nothing.
Mark?
Nothing.
I got a few, of course. Let's see. We did the goose roundup a week ago Friday and collected 69 geese, so that was another year that worked out well. Let's see what else. That's later. I'm going to talk about Mark, you have somebody at Arrowhead. They're going to try and get another member on our board here.
Yeah, the board meets next Tuesday, but I'm going to the board meeting. I'm going to ask again for another individual to be appointed by Arrowhead for the board.
Okay, good.
This board.
Good, thank you. That's all I got for now. The rest will be covered in this sections. Okay, number 8, wake boat discussion. Do we have any updates?
I don't have any new updates to let everybody know. I've been talking to Last Allegiance and with Carl, and we're probably going to hold the town board. It's probably going to hold a town meeting sometime in August. It'll probably be on a weekend, a Saturday or Sunday, to have a discussion with the residents in the town on the issue of the wake boats.
And just a heads up, I did get a call, not for the Tri-Lakes, but as a town board member. Got a call from an attorney yesterday. Figured it was an attorney. It was. Wanting to know who our attorney was for the town, so I let him know. But I told him he's talking about an ordinance. I said, we aren't talking about an ordinance. We're just talking about discussions at this point. So just a heads up. Number 9, the annual bubbler update, funds, surveys, next steps, and current operations. I'll let you guys start. You've been busier than heck, so.
Well, we got a couple things. This is some pictures of the pictures. And there's a couple things we gotta make some modifications to it. As you can see, this is the end of the pier with the 2 12-inch pipes, and it's discharging. It being on the end of the lake, prevailing winds kind of take all of the whatever's left over weeds that the weekend boats cut up, and it all flows down into the bay where they are. So we're looking at putting some kind of skirt or barrier underneath.
Oh, yeah. Mike, you want to go to the microphone? I'm sorry.
I can still drive it, good.
Is it on?
I think so, it's green. How's that, better? Yeah. Okay. So what we have is the larger unit on 8th Avenue over here, and we have 2 pipes that reach out, is everybody in the audience, that reach out, that pull water in to the machine, and then it discharges right next to it. You can see the 2 pipes on to the right of the picture there. The processed water is flowing out. You can see it in the current going out, but just to the left of that current, there's a large weed bed, an island, if you want to call it, that comes from the boats cutting up the weeds in the middle of the lake during the weekend, and they all float down to this end. It's a normal thing that's been here forever on the lakes. The wind just pushes it down. We have on the intake, there's a couple round barrels that are, Mark, how big are they? 2 feet by 4 feet?
7 inches by 48.
Okay. And they have screens that, there's 2 of them that comes off a T, like a T-bone, that pulls the water in. It's got a couple rotating sprayers on the inside that sprays the screen from the inside to blow any weeds out. But there's so many weeds there, and once you blow them out, we're pulling in probably 2,400 gallons a minute. That's a lot of water. It just kind of pulls them back in. So some of the stuff goes out, some of it comes back in. So what we want to do is around this pier area, let me see if I can bring up a better shot. So this is looking down at, you can see it's kind of U-shaped at the very end. We had to do this just for the weight. We had to cantilever the weight across because of the pipes and stuff. What we would like to do is put a skirting down off the water's edge, go all the way around it, and then bring it back across. So we would eliminate some of the weeds that are being pushed in it. A dam, a barrier, pre-filter, whatever you want to call it. So we're proposing to do that. And there's a couple different options out there that we got. Mark, you have, we got a quote back. I don't know if you want to. We got two different ones. I have it up. I have it on the thing here too. We can look at it. But one of them is to make that skirt solid, and the other one is to put some type of perforated, expanded metal, but it'd be aluminum so it wouldn't rust, just to protect, collect it. So we're drawing in 2,400 gallons a minute. That area is about 600 feet. If you calculate the number of gallons in that area with the water coming out, we got two changes, a change every 2 minutes, I should say, of water with 2,400 gallons. So our fear is that since the weeds are floating into the top 3 feet of water, 4 feet of water, we would just pull it underneath. So we'd like to either look at it that way or a combination of the expanded metal, solid, just to act as a pre-filter. So just to help, because once we clog up those barrels underneath the piers, the machine shuts down. It clogs and the safety's protected from burning itself out. So we had 3 of those so far. We just want to make this thing a little more idiot-proof and let it run by itself. Weed-proof, there you go. Yes?
In the springtime, before you turn it on,
Uh-huh.
every spring, everything breaks free.
Uh-huh.
You have a big mud gook.
Yep.
Comes down and ends up my shore actually. But you got thoughts, make sure you prevent that mud gook also from coming into your filters there?
I
as part of that
don't think
process?
the muck, if you look across the 8th Street Bridge, I think that muck is still there.
Right,
the
but
floaters,
in the
right?
spring, it breaks free, comes underneath the bridge, and
Yes.
flows down the lake.
Right,
And it goes, those winds from northeast push it right into our cove.
okay.
And I'm just concerned when that comes through, if you're sucking that kind of water, because you weren't sucking it this year at that time, it wasn't open when that breaks free.
Yeah,
Because it breaks free every spring.
okay.
Just thoughts that, since a whole layer of mud, leaves, gook.
What, is that like right after the ice?
Yep, yeah, sometime when we get the heavy winds, it breaks free, and I'll have 40, 50 feet straight out of just gook.
Are you at the cove over on 8th Avenue or, oh, straight across, straight
Comes
across?
in here,
Got it.
And then it blows straight back here.
Okay.
Is where it blows.
I know there's boats on both sides. I thought maybe that was what you were talking about.
It ends up in the next,
Right.
not the first big area, but the next big area is where it lands.
Yeah. I think the thing that's not going to be running during the winter, I don't know, we
But it's
really
the
don't have a,
springtime- It's the springtime, the
Yep,
water's
I get
there,
it, I get
so
it.
I'm just concerned that it's gonna start sucking that up.
It depends on how solid it is. If it
I've
was that-
seen the mass. I know exactly what
Yeah.
he's talking
I
about.
literally, it
It's-
took me over 2 weeks to clean it this year.
Yeah, there's a bay across the lake from you, they get it too, it goes back and forth between,
Right.
depending which way the wind's going. I saw it in the spring in their bay, and it was black, ugly, it was just organic material.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all
And
floating down from
and
upstream.
Unfortunately, it settles, and the only way to get it out is to rake the
Right.
bottom of the lake.
right.
Yeah, you're right.
This is not going to stop the mass. It will protect it from being pulled into the
That's
machine.
all I'm saying, is whatever
Right.
you have, make sure you protect yourself from that.
Oh, yeah, that's what this would be for. It would extend down, around the edge, it would be bolted to the top of the pier, and then 90 down, was it 40 inches? Close to 4 feet? Yeah, approximately.
But just make sure you're above the surface with it as well.
Correct, yeah, we don't want, yeah, exactly.
We've talked to EOR too, if there's something they could do about that stuff coming in, but there's so much coming in, how do you keep a filter clean or a bullet, or whatever you wanna put in
I
there?
personally think a skim thing like you use for oil would work, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, there's just so much coming in, you are correct in that respect, but,
Like you
they
talk
haven't,
about water quality, that's pretty nasty.
Has Moliere been out to look at this specific problem yet?
They've been out during startup, and I've been in contact with Sean. He was the one that is the tech that was on, and he suggested putting in, excuse me, making sure we clean the screens and scrub them like a toothbrush. So we've been doing that, but he's also said put in some kind of barrier with a mesh of some type to protect it, just to protect it, the screen itself.
I mean, when we first went in with the contract with Moliere, part of that contract was actual service calls, visits, training, and things like that, and on-site stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to actually get those guys out here to look at this and say, we need to come up, and I agree with the solution that we're talking about, but I think they need to be directly involved with this problem as well, just my opinion. I mean, if that's something we paid for.
Part of the contract, correct me if I'm wrong, we've got 4 to 5 weeks worth of Moliere being out here working with our guys.
We have 5 weeks on site.
5 weeks.
Right.
That's for the whole project.
Yeah.
John was out here last week, but I don't know if he had any discussions with you guys. I have.
Didn't talk to him, did you?
Briefly, but it wasn't really consulting.
Okay.
Maybe we bring him out here, get an opinion. I mean, we're going back and forth too with that other part that Chris wanted on there, and again, we're not the engineers. We're not gonna-
Exactly, and that's the T, yeah, we're waiting for that also.
Yeah, so maybe we just put that in John's lap and let him figure it out, be my opinion.
Good with that?
Yeah.
Mike, if you put this barrier around that pier, are you gonna have to occasionally go and clean the weeds and whatnot to collect around that barrier?
Hopefully we'll eliminate the need to do it as frequently as we are. But it will be made so you can take off the one panel, there's several different panels, and you can still get at it. We can get at it from the middle areas, because there's a large screen underneath this one pier, and then there's the other one, the sister is right across the pier. You can get at it from the inside, but since they're 4 feet long, you gotta kind of lay on your belly with a broom, a brush, to clean it, to get at it.
Mark, you had a question? You want to come up to the mic?
To address this gentleman's concern, our blockages so far have been weeds, pollen, the falling from the trees, the cottonwood seeds, and some algae. And so because the filters are located under those support piers, it's extremely difficult to get a good cleaning on them. Picture the pier here and the filter underneath it on both sides of the pipes there. And so we felt that our best option was to keep the weeds from getting under the piers to begin with. We've discussed solid skirting or perforated skirting. And we've gotten options from one of our builders for, I believe the board has the information, $2,100 for a solid skirt, $3,100 for a perforated skirt. There you go. And installation costs of approximately $900. The skirts are removable. We believe that's gonna simplify the cleaning. Every time the unit goes down, we lose what?
2 hours minimum.
At least 2 hours. And at one time it happened at 8 o'clock at night and it was storming. So Mike and I were not able to respond until the next morning, so we had a 12-hour downtime. So there are some issues, but we felt this was a resolution.
We're just trying to come up with a solution, like Mark says.
How open is that perforation? Any idea?
I think it was listed in here.
Percent of open area or something like that? It's pretty open.
Inch and a quarter by,
Not even,
oh, that's not it
can't read
either.
it.
I just wanna make sure the organic material that breaks out in the spring is accounted for. That's all
Right.
it is.
Yeah, the thought was that we'd go with a combination of both, but keep the first 6 inches up below water solid, and then be perf before that. But the fear is that we're sucking so much water, 2 minutes and you got a full change. It's only 600 cubic feet. So, I mean, you're gonna be pulling something, it's so, especially once the weeds are suspended in the top 2 feet of water, you're gonna be pulling them in, right underneath.
The
So I'd
per-
rather pull it through and clean it off on the outside than go underneath and clean it. So that's a thought.
The perimeter of the pier surrounding the filters is approximately 50 feet or 600 inches. So we would have approximately 600 inches of skirting around the filters. They would extend approximately 40 inches below the surface of the water. And our understanding is that the weeds generally float, and those are the ones we're primarily trying to block. We're not certain if, with 600 inches of perimeter around it, drawing 2,400 gallons per minute, we're approximately 4 gallons per inch that would have to come under the skirting. But neither one of us are hydrologists. We don't know what the flow rate is relative to distance from the filters. And so we've been given the option of perforation or solid skirting.
So, yeah, so as Mark says, this is the 2 forked, if you wanna call it, with the 2 filters underneath, and we'd wrap it from this corner straight across this open area. And this is the exhaust, the output of the nano bubbler. It would go through that skirting,
Underneath it,
yeah, and then it would continue on to the other corner and then back underneath. And it would go underneath the other walkout pier, and it would be solid there.
Is it like a screen?
that's the discussion right now. We have options of a solid skirt, non-perforated, or a perforated skirt, which
Or a combination of.
or a combination of, which would allow water to come through the skirt but limited. It'd be like a pre-filter to the,
Yeah, cause the weeds are gonna get sucked onto the perforated, and it's gonna clog that.
Yeah.
So the more open that perforation is, the more time you have before that gets clogged.
Right.
Or starts bringing weeds under it.
that was one of our concerns, and
Right.
that's why we
Here they
also,
say, here it is, it's fabricated with 1/2 inch flattened expanded aluminum material. So 1/2 inch hole.
there's a lot of things we don't know
We're
yet.
we're not water engineers.
Mike and Mark,
Might, yeah, occurring, pretty regular maintenance you don't know yet.
Right. Since we've been watching the machine and cleaning it, the weekends is the worst because, you know, the boat traffic. So Mondays we work with the cutter crew, and we meet a guy there at 8 o'clock, and he spends a couple hours. I spend a couple hours, and we just pick up weeds and haul them away. I noticed that somebody says that we got piles no, we've been putting piles on it. So, but we're just trying to, I mean, we spend a lot of money for this machine. We want to make sure we run it to its biggest capacity and make sure we take care of it. Because it went down 3 times, and like Mark says, it went down 3 times, and one of them was during the cottonwood hatch, where it's that white cotton all over. Right now, if you look at, I got a picture, if you look at a picture right now, it's got here's the shoreline. You can see it's got like oatmeal weeds, oatmeal looking seeds. They don't seem to be soaking down in there, so it's not collecting, but again, we're learning at this portion as we go. This is all new to us. We're just trying to come up with it.
When you say solid, how's the water getting towards the pumps? I'm not quite
I'm sorry.
understanding. You mentioned perforated versus solid.
Oh, it would be open on the bottom.
It does not go,
Okay,
it does not go to the lake bed, and so it's probably 2 to 3 feet off the lake bed, probably 3 feet off the lake bed. Water would come under. You picture a plate or a barrier setting in the water, water level stays the same on either side of it. It seeks its own level, so the water would come under. We don't see that as being any kind of a problem.
Yeah, somebody probably should do the calcs though.
Do they ever put a grinder pump in there to kind of grind that stuff up before?
The pump that moves the water is actually capable of moving solids. But what we don't wanna do is we don't wanna get blockages by our injectors, our oxygen injectors.
Right. Yeah, you don't, it's being screened at it looks like a house screen more or less. It's really a lot thicker material, but it's that size of a screen. Protect the solids from coming in. But once they collect so much on it, and it's a large surface, but after a while, you're gonna be, and then the pump has so many sensors in it, it's all computer-based and monitored. It says, I'm not getting enough water flow, and it shuts down.
California finds out, and then California tells Mike or myself, and we're next,
Yeah,
we're the next thing by the filter.
pretty key holders.
Mark, the problems that we're having, I mean, Moliere's got these containers all over the world. This can't be a new problem. Have you talked with them? They gotta come up with some type of solution to help us out.
Right. We hit them up, and the one thing they said, turn up the hertz on the wash pump. And I think it started out at 52 hertz. It's a variable speed, so we can mount water going into it. Right now, it's pretty close to max.
We are maxed out on our wash pump right now. Problem is this is the first time this system has been used for scrubbing an inland lake. And if it's used in a reservoir, that's different than an inland lake as far as weed growth and all. If it's used in a quarry for cleaning that up, that's different than an inland lake too. They're used in 20 countries around the world. And this is the first time it's been used for cleaning an inland lake. And we're kind of an experiment. They're using it on Lake Elsinore in California, which is a 3,000 acre lake, which dwarfs our lakes. But that is a reservoir, which has spillage coming from the mountains and the surrounding areas. I don't know the area personally, but, and there they have, it is deeper too, but they have floating barges out there that have these units sitting on them. And they just pick it up and discharge it right where the barges are floating in the reservoir. So this is kind of a first of its kind installation. And I think everybody's learning as we go. They have a lot of experts, hydrologists and all. Mike and I are learning as we go. So,
Are they going to review the designs and get their opinions from the hydrologist to say, yeah, you get ample volume of water through that type of design to your.
Yeah, well, at the bottom is open, so water should come. It's just gonna come deeper
Still
versus
comes
off the
behind
surface. I understand, I get it.
Well, which is why, I mean, everything you just said is absolutely true, which I think it's important, since this is a new, I mean, they really haven't dealt with this type of scenario before, which I think it's more important that they get out here on site and work with you guys to come up with a solution, do the calculations, and, I mean, take some of the stress and stuff that you're trying to figure this out off your shoulders, and have the guys that, you know, actually are building the machine and stuff out here to say, this is what we need to do. Again, that's what we're paying for, we've paid for. We need to utilize that.
You want us to call John and get him out here? I don't have a problem with that.
Instead of a cage match.
I'm sorry?
Cage match, yes.
All right. Are we having problems like this with NEO units at all?
so far we are not. We're flowing 150 gallons a minute on each Neo. We currently have 4 of them operating. They're maintaining their efficiency. The only thing we've noticed is different sound levels coming from one of them. We're pumping, what is it, approximately 1.5 million gallons a week through those, even though it's only 150 gallons a minute. They're all doing their thing on the bays of Sherwood. We're in the process of installing them as we go. As far as filter blockage, we haven't had any. We haven't had any internal filter cleanings. We have a basket filter before it enters the pump, We haven't had a problem with that yet. So, our primary filter where we pick up water under the piers is being kept off the bottom, definitely below the surface, depending upon our water depth. It varies a little bit. And so far, so good on the Neos.
I've heard, I think from Carl or somebody, that people are starting to see an improvement along by the two big containers.
I noticed that from being on a pier, it's a lot clearer, you can see down further.
But somebody said they can actually see sand.
You wanna,
Regarding the nano unit, the big unit on 8th Avenue, it's been noted that they can actually see the color of the bottom of the lake as opposed to the gray-black mass that it had been, which is the muck. So it's starting to clear up near the nano, which is what the bubbles are supposed to do. As far as the Neos go, we've been getting feedback primarily from one owner out on south side of Sherwood, and he says that they're using the water now. His neighbors are using the water more. That it's been operating for approximately 3-4 weeks, about 4 weeks now, and they said it's definitely better. Can we attribute it all to the Neo unit? We don't know, because we've been getting a lot of rain this season. Fresh water, I'm not sure if it's contributing to better water, if it's flushing more stuff into the lake. So it's probably a combination of the two that is giving this owner the impression that we have better water. I know that doesn't answer your question completely, but
Have we seen anything come back from testing?
well, UWSP's out every week on Tuesdays doing their testing, and they're collecting data now, right now, and they'll be comparing it against baseline from last year, so nothing to report. I mean, it's gonna be a while before they start, yeah, but they are feeding the information in, so it's,
if you
data's
look
being
at your
collected.
notes, I'm sorry, Carl.
Oh, go ahead.
If you look at your notes, you'll see that apparently I reported last month that we intended to have 10 Neos up by this time of this month. We have not. We're limited with what our subcontractors can do, electrical, piers, and on, and we can only get just so much. We're hitting at about 2 units per week for getting them turned on, and so
They look nice. It's done a great job.
I'll say the water is crystal clear in the next cove down. I've never seen it that clean, but I don't know if it's too early yet, where we haven't seen the green
Yeah.
stuff show, so I don't know. Now it's good.
Yeah,
Wait
we-
till the end of August.
I know.
Yeah, we can't take any credit yet.
Yeah, but that's the thing, you know, you say you can't pinpoint this, but we're seeing something's happening.
Yeah.
What it is, we don't know. The impact days are being reduced, that's all good stuff. Whatever reason it is, combination, the impact are being reduced, impact days, that's good.
One of the things, I have a question, I'm gonna ask Molier, I hadn't thought about this before, but I wonder if they're able to collect data to see how many nanobubbles are in some of the water or the sediment that they're producing. I know they're doing the DO samples, that'll be some information for us, especially in the sediment. But I just wonder if they can get an idea of what the count is, just make sure it's happening.
I can tell you that I've been doing readings on the machine itself for the large unit. And when we started it the first day, it's been a month and like a week or so, did not see any degrade in the baseline from when we started. I mean, it's producing whatever it did when we first started it up. So I mean, it's nice. No cleaning, nothing. It's just pump it away. It's working. It's working hard.
We've all been told that their bubbles are so small, there's 2,400 of them on a grain of sand. So that's why they're called nanobubbles. I asked one of their representatives, how many bubbles is there in a gallon of water? That was a dumb question.
How many grains of sand? do you
Yeah.
put into a gallon, huh?
Well, I mean, we're pumping 2,400 gallons a minute. I'm rounding up. It's like 2930.
It varies, 2390, right?
Yeah.
So, the systems are working. They've proven in the past this system does work. How will it affect our lakes? We believe it'll be positive because it's been restricted by the DNR for the time being. It's not gonna be results as fast as we had all hoped for, but it's working.
I have a question for either one of you two. No, this is probably more for you, Mark, than it is for Mike. With the NEO units, your crew has had to design several different applications to be able to get the piping systems into place to be able to work that unit.
That's true.
So has anybody from Moliere been there to help you with any of those installations or to guide you as to what to do? Only because we've already paid for a lot of that already, but it doesn't seem that they are living up to what we've paid for by, assisting you with the installs.
You're absolutely right. Each installation is custom, dependent upon the shore and the depth of the water, everything else. Location where we can set the base for the NEO. No, Moliere has not helped us design a system to go on, under, or around the pier or set in the base. What they have done is I have a phone number for one of their, part of their global support team, and every time I've called, they've been there immediately or within minutes, and help guide us through startups. And usually that's a 10 to 15 minute process. Yesterday we experienced a startup without any assist. So either we're getting better or we got lucky.
Well, I'm sorry.
I think from the engineering standpoint, what you're looking for, again, it's all custom on how you put the pipes together, right?
It is.
And it's still the same pipes, it's just a different elbow and angles and whatnot.
Yes,
So I
exactly.
think that's what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Okay, then I guess my question is, we paid for must be 5 visits.
5 weeks.
5 weeks, I believe.
Well, on the invoice that I'm looking at, it says 5, quantity 5, consulting time, engineering services, startup commissioning and install support. Have we got any of that yet, other than your phone calls to Sean or John or whoever you call out there to, I know we had some support when we put the big unit in at 8th Avenue, but after that, what's happened? Anything that you're aware of?
Unless they're charging for phone calls. I don't know.
I don't know either. Does the phone call consider part of the engineering services that are listed on this invoice?
One point of clarification, again, this is for the entire contract, and we have more units coming next year or the year after. That was the whole concept. So they've been involved mainly in the installation of the containers, and they were out here quite a bit for that as far as placement and installation and startup. The smaller units, they said, yeah, they could be out here for it, but we still have more units coming down the road. So I don't want to use up all their time right away.
But I guess my point is that they've already done all this work, that they might not need those people to come for those visits to show them how to install this stuff. By the time they get their first 10 in, they're going to have the knowledge on how to do the next 20. So, we paid for this. Are we getting any support for our money?
I think some of that's gonna come spring and fall shutdown.
Yep.
We winterize these things, and then the start will begin in the spring.
Okay.
We gotta save some of it for that.
Agreed.
Okay, thank you.
A couple other points. I want to talk to Phil Strand the other day. Some of you may know him. He's, I forgot what lake he's on. But anyway, he's also doing a NEO testing unit on their lake, and they're reporting to the DNR just as we are. But he's getting interesting information because he said, according to some of the folks that he was dealing with in the DNR up in his area, they said, we're not doing much of anything with NEO units. So I said, no, we got 4 of them running. We're looking to put in 2 a week and keep moving forward. So anyway, but he's having good luck already with his. He's had it in there for a couple weeks, I believe. So kind of interesting. They elected to go with a wooden cabinet. I thought, well, good luck with that. They're having issues with it already, so I think the ones we went with BDT were excellent.
Are they going through the same requirements from the DNR that DNR recorded us?
Yeah, he's actually he did send they've been sending their test results to Madison and been getting them back within 3 to 4 weeks. He said. I said, well, they're told us 24 months, so that wasn't. Yeah, and plus he's complaining about the bill. It was $17,000. I said, yeah, that's nice. It's cute. The other thing was, just so everybody know, we will be having to talk to the attorney. We'll have to move the unit. We were looking to go with either getting all the names and information from the folks on Salisbury Beach Club. There's over 60, and the attorney said the likelihood of that is probably 1%. He suggests we go ahead and do a permit to get it over in the parking lot. With that, I did talk to MSA about doing a survey for us. We would need that. They came back with a cost of $6,600, which I thought was obscene. So I called 2 other companies. I got one here from Lampert. They'll do it for $1,100 plus any other costs with the county. And the other one never called me back. So my suggestion is we go with Lampert to get the survey done. There is an issue there, though, because we have to be 66 foot off of the center line of the road. I think it's 66. And then 75 foot back from the water line. And that gives us about a 23-foot margin in there, and we got our containers are 20 foot. So it has to be very accurate. I did ask for spikes in all 4 corners, but it's going to come in right in the middle of their parking lot. I'll be talking to LCPOA this weekend to see how they want to handle it. They might balk at this. On the other hand, I don't know what else to do. There's no other place to put these things at this point. However, in the research, we found that the thing that everybody thinks is a beach club, just to the south of that, I guess, of the parking lot is not a beach club. It's LCPOA property, all of it. So my thought was, I have no idea what the cost would be, but if we would extend their parking lot into that area, it would probably save us money, either that or we have to move the units to that area. I have no idea what the cost would be, but that'd be additional piping and all sorts of things, so. Is that south? Okay, I guess it would be the south, yeah. It is LCPOA property, totally theirs. It's not a beach club. So it's another access point for us, but then we'd have to run, EOR wants those pipes go basically close to where we're at now, so we'd have to run them all the way through underground from there, so I have no idea.
Are we still going to, I know what you just said about what the attorney said, the 1%, still pursue that as an option, as well as moving it to the parking lot area? Because in looking at that, I mean, we're talking moving it, 40 feet?
Yeah,
Pretty
about.
much in a straight line back.
Yeah.
I've never seen that area when cutting and all that other stuff utilized really for anything.
Well, that'd be the ideal spot, but he said, your probability, we need 100% approval by the county.
Until we have them contact, or we contact the 60 people and.
Well, it's a board call. I mean, he said 1% if you're lucky. And again, people have to respond. We need 100%, and there's a time frame involved in that too, so.
But, yeah, and I understand that, but I don't think we should give up on that possibility of an option, as well. I'm not saying, abandon moving it to the other side and stuff. I'm just saying, let's make sure that that is definitely not an option.
Carl, the electrical, would that have to be relocated also, or can we run that under?
Well, yeah, we'd have to go under. We already had a cost from Adams Columbia to go $30,000 going under the channel. That's what we had saved before. However, you are right. There's another box further down. They might be able to bring.
Well, we installed the main feed for the large unit right there on the where the unit is now. Would that have to be relocated?
I don't know.
Okay.
Just a thought regarding that beach club we're currently sitting on. You take a look at the wooded area behind our containers, and that's a non-usable area for the property owners already. Just like our putting our containers down becomes a non-usable area, but so is the wooded area that they have in the beach club as it stands now.
Just to the north?
Just to the north of where the containers are. So
it all makes sense, but again, we're gonna need, if we need 100% approval, probability.
Is it 100% or is it just majority?
According to
or-
the county, they're looking for 100%.
And we all know we can't get 100%.
We don't, well, we don't know that, but probability,
They're considered owners, it's 100%.
Right.
yeah.
I always thought it was like 67% or something.
Well,
for-
that also brings up another issue, because if an owner sells, does that apply, does that rule apply then to the new owner? Or can they come in and make a complaint? It's a lot of issues on the whole thing. It's all legal stuff, but it's, you know, how it was explained to us. We can pursue both of them. I mean, that's, was our original intent, but
We were, I mean, that was the original plan, is to pursue both, and then whichever one is gonna work out, we're set then.
again, it's gonna be a time factor, because now they gotta collect all the names, find the owners, make sure we got the right addresses, get the notices out to them and see what they say. So, we can pursue them both, but it's gonna cost, it'll still cost money to handle that. The lawyer has to handle all that, so. All right, I'll have them move it forward with both.
Maybe he could just contact, you know, a few to start with rather than all of them to see what kind of response he gets. And if, you know, the first 10, one of them says no, then you don't have to go any further.
Not a bad idea, yeah. We can start off with that. See what else. Anything else on Nannable? You got some good news for us? We got the 4 running, up and running. We've got some positive feedback and contacts.
That's all good news.
Yeah, so, all right. Very good, thank you. Number 10, 14-mile watershed alliance.
Good morning. Got a couple things to share. There's a networking opportunity coming up on the 7th of April. That's what's looks like it's going to become an annual event. It's Upper Wisconsin River Basin Bash. So that's an opportunity for. Last year there were at least a dozen. I think it's going to continue to grow of government and nonprofits all involved in water quality issues. So that's going to be a good place for people to share their knowledge. So coming up in April, 14-mile watershed is part of our outreach. We're at the farmers market every Friday, and then we're also planning on having a booth to meet with folks at Camelot Frolic, and that'll be the 19th of August. I wanted to mention that the Camelot Shoreline restoration right by the lodge has been completed. In the process of getting the reimbursement from the DNR grant on that. I helped the Camelot folks write the grant, and it was submitted through Tri-Lakes since they had the financial resources to kind of wait to get the reimbursements on some of these things. So anyway, that's quite a nice showcase area. A shoreline has been treated with biobags, and they've been planted. So I just urge people to go and look at that. That's quite a nice project. That's kind of innovative and new for our area. So, questions?
Can you touch on what Barb Herod presented the other night, Monday night, the project she was working with? I forgot what the name of it was.
It was
Yeah, I mean, it was very intriguing.
Homegrown National Park, I believe, was the organization, and what the idea is. There's a goal, which kind of a far-reaching, long-term goal, but the goal is looking at that there are over 4 million acres in the country of turf lawns, And they're saying if even half of that could be converted to native grasses, it would be such a boon to so many endangered species and other wildlife, pollinators in particular. So they, through this homegrown national park, they're saying if they could get that 2 million acres, that'd be bigger than any other. That'd make it the biggest national park there is. Technically, it wouldn't be, but that's kind of what the goal is. And I know Barb's is giving an expanded version of that talk at the library, and it may even be today. I don't know for sure, but
Yeah, and Barb's already on the registry as one of the participants.
okay. Questions? Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Number 11, harvester update.
All right, Craig is not able to be here today. He's out helping our other driver with unloading and covering all that while we have the meeting. So I got some information here. I've got the harvesting data from July 1st through the 15th. Starting with Sherwood, Lower Sherwood, 14 loads, 34,500 pounds of weeds. Upper Sherwood was 12 loads at 33,500. Lower Camelot, we've taken 19 loads off for 42,000 pounds. Upper Camelot, 7 loads for 16,000. Arrowhead's 11 loads for 22,500, and the Channel was 7 loads at 13,500 pounds, for a total of 70 loads at 162,070 pounds of weeds. That's just from the 1st of July through the 15th. The weeds are starting to come in pretty thick now. We've had some issues with some of the bubblers breaking down that we've been able to keep up on, and
Harvesters, not bubblers.
bubblers. I got bubblers on mine, I'm sorry. Bubblers. So we're dealing with whatever issues arise as fast as we can. So things are plodding along.
Brad, I got a question for you. Last Monday at 14 Mile, Scott Provost from the DNR, the poundage, the weeds that we collect, is that information being passed on to the DNR, Scott Provost? He said he hasn't gotten that data from 2023 or 2024.
It's passed on at the end of the year after.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, he made that statement at the meeting. He hasn't got it for 23 or 24.
And it's I'm sorry, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. It's interesting because
Can you speak?
there were there's multiple years where I sent him that data and the response from the lab as far as what was taken out. And then he was supposed to, there is some formula that would tell us how many pounds of phosphorus or nitrogen were taken out by the amount of pounds of weeds I gave him per lake and the tests that were sent to the lab. And he kept not giving us a response, and I would bring it up every year, and I even called another district in Wisconsin for them to give me the formula so I could figure it out. So now he's complaining he didn't get them, and it's fine. I pulled them up last night, and I'll email them. I didn't have time last night before, but I will email him it's a chart that we just keep adding years on. So it's always the older years and the most current. So I will just, I think it goes back to 2009 or 7. But it keeps all the years on one Excel spreadsheet, and that's what we would share with him.
Oh, and he made that statement Monday via Zoom. I know we send the data from the weed harvesters to the DNR. Well, when he said he hasn't gotten it for the years 2023 and 2024, I'm going, wait a minute.
I always send it directly to him. He's my contact person.
I don't know what tell everybody, that's, Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, that's what Scott said.
It's, yes. Yeah. The other thing too is, sending the pieces in for the lab test. They're supposed to do it June, July, and August. I know I talked to Craig last year, and he said they were doing it July, August, September, but it does state in the permit it is June, July, and August.
Yeah, he's.
We want to make sure those are going in, so, yeah, the samples got to go in. I think they also need to go in what lake they're from, whether it's a channel, the lower Camelot.
Oh, it always says it on the
They're
back.
marked.
Does it? They're
Yeah,
all,
they're marked.
okay, all right. Just follow through, make sure we're getting that done, so. Anything else, Harvester?
Just a note, we're already thinking towards the end of the season and what we have to do when we start pulling harvesters off and doing the maintenance and stuff. This is more for the nano guys. We need to think about getting the stuff transferred back out of the hangar into the storage units before we start pulling boats out of the water, just so, I mean, once we start pulling them out, it's the crew that we have, it's just constant. And we're not gonna have time to be moving.
What date are you looking at starting at?
We would like them out, he said, right before the annual meeting. So if they're out before then, that's fine.
Are we gonna need another storage unit, Mike?
Well, we got 10 extras, I don't think they will fit in there. They will fit, won't they?
They will,
Then we install more.
our storage unit will handle what we have on hand.
It just, when he's talking about pulling bolts out, we're not pulling them all out at the same time.
Right,
We're
It's a
pulling
constant flow, yeah.
Right.
one out a week or maybe two out a week, so it still gives you a little bit of time to do whatever you have to do over there. But
Need your help with the,
you certainly, that's understandable.
and I don't wanna get in the middle, you're doing.
Well, and we don't want to interfere with what you guys got going on as far as getting the little Neo units in and stuff too, so. One other thing, Brad, I just want to mention that we've noticed some complaints about some hydraulic oil slicks on the water. Again, the hydraulic oil that we're using is a vegetable-based oil, so it's not going to be any type of danger to the water system or to anybody else. We've had a couple of weed harvesters that have seals that have gone bad, and we're having a difficult time finding these seals to replace them. But the hydraulic oil that's on the top of the water, the slicks that you see are not harmful. They're all water biodegradable, so they're going to disappear soon. But when we hear about a slick, we try and get a weed cutter over there right away to kind of mix things up so that slick kind of hopefully disappears. So, but there's nothing to worry about if you see that.
Yeah, that was carried on in social media, but it dissipated pretty quick. It went away.
Well,
So,
there was also a report too, that it was noticed, a resident on the lake as well had kind of a mishap with their pontoon boat and was spilling motor oil. Now, motor oil and our hydraulic oil are two different things. You're gonna see the hydraulic fluid does dissipate. The motor oil that's going into the lake, that doesn't dissipate. And that'll just flow around, and I think some of that is what people are noticing as well. I mean, we do address our hydraulic issues, I mean, ASAP, that's a priority. But some of this may not be caused just by the harvesters, it's caused by some of the boats that are actually leaking oil that's not marine grade or whatever. I'm sorry.
Yeah, would you consider maybe having little booms on the harvesters, so when there's a situation, you have
Like a
little
spill
oil
kit?
boom and you could put that out and you're right on it. If it's the harvester or if it's something else, you got them right.
That would probably have to be done if we even consider that. We'd have to put a skiff in the water to do that, the one that Carl uses. There's not enough room on those harvesters to store a boom system. The one boat that even does the channel, there's hardly enough room for two guys. So it would be, like I said, have to launch a separate boat to try and contain little bit of fluid that did escape from the harvester.
That's all I have for the harvesters.
Thanks. And just an update too, when we did the goose roundup, we had a lot of support from the harvesters. I had 18 geese going on Arrowhead. I lost them all, and got a call from Mike. He said, "Yeah, the guys found your geese. They're over by the marina, so we're able to keep them in check." So I appreciate the guys' help on that, and I guess they helped on another lake as well. So
And they enjoyed it. It was something a little bit different than what they're normally used to, so. Gave them a
Yeah.
couple hours of playtime.
well, we appreciate it. It was very helpful. Number 12, district update.
Nothing for me.
All right.
to report.
And we already talked about Lake Arrowhead representation. 13, county WIDNR and/or 9 key element update. I see Colton's here. Did you have anything from the county? Nothing? All right.
The only thing I have from the county
Sure.
is the county administrator, Cynthia Haggard, her contract was renewed last night for a period of 5 years.
Town update? Mark, anything?
No.
Oh, sorry. Yes,
Are we still on 13?
yes, we can. Go up to the microphone, please.
Okay. So a couple updates from my role as watershed coordinator. Working on a story map for the 14-mile watershed. I have some high definition drone footage. It's very, I'm having some issues getting it scaled down to work with ArcGIS, which is the story mapping program that we would be using. So I'm working through the editing, but my vision for this story map was to show land use changes over time, to give an aerial view of the watershed, everything from like up by Leola Drainage District all the way down to where the 14-mile creek flows into Petenwell. So the footage is beautiful. I have it. It's just on a USB, and I have to get it scaled down and put into a story format. So I'm working on that. So update on the biochar grant. So that's through the Sand County Foundation. I've been talking with the Sand County Foundation because ultimately for the long-term capacity for the project is whoever's going to end up being the fiscal agent for farmers of 14 Mile Creek. That's who we really want to have the grant with, because it's to support the farmers directly in implementing a practice. So we have some time. The Sand County Foundation's like, it's okay. There's no rush. I mean, ultimately, we want to get the biochar out on the landscape after harvest, so it can overwinter on the fields. So we have several producers that are interested in implementing this practice, and so it's just going to come down to financial capacity. So I know the 14 Mile Watershed Alliance has expressed interest in becoming the fiscal agent for farmers of 14 Mile Creek in the future. And with like also the producer-led watershed grants, the Sand County Foundation, this is also reimbursable. So we have to, any purchasing of the biochar has to be done, and then you get reimbursed. Now, because it's a $100,000 grant, I was throwing around some ideas of like, well, maybe if you have, 14 Mile Watershed Alliance ends up being the fiscal agent for farmers of 14 Mile Creek, that maybe Charter Lakes would have interest in supporting the 14 Mile Watershed Alliance. So you have lake organizations supporting lake organizations supporting farmers in this watershed. So really just trying to encourage everyone to continue to work together in that capacity, similar to how Packers is the fiscal agent for Farmers of the Rocha Cree. So Farmers of the Rocha Cree started with the fiscal agent being the county, just like Farmers of 14 Mile Creek. Right now, the fiscal agent is the county, but like we ended up moving the fiscal agent and that producer-led group to the Lakes groups, just because we really want to encourage those collaborations between Lakes residents and the producers. And that's what was so exciting about biochar is you have that shared interest between, we have, Lakes people wanting to do socks on docks. We've got other partners, like UW faculty are really interested in doing some on the field trials. Then you have the Nature Conservancy. They're looking at the system, so they're doing some internal planning of how could biochar be integrated into the system with wildfire management. So reducing a biomass / after cuttings and at the transfer site. So this is a way bigger than just Land and Water, Adams County Land and Water Conservation Department. This is a a multi faceted project, a lot of interested people. And speaking of the UW faculty, I attended the Potato Research Field Day last week. That was really wonderful to see a lot of the growers that are here in 14 Mile Creek. They were in attendance there, saw a lot of great participation. The cooperatives, all the like pest pros. So these are the people in agriculture that they're working with, they're using neonics, they're working in pesticides, fertilizers, all the things that we're talking about when it comes to nutrient loss reduction. And so that was really good to get some learning in. Saw Go Long and Jed Calhoun and all of those incredible research and outreach faculty who are participating in the Rural Partnerships Institute work. So that is all around nitrate leaching. So there's a lot of research coming out to support farmers on having less inputs, increasing profit per acre, and also reducing those inputs. I also got in touch with several people who are part of the NeoNIC working group. So I'm on that listserv now, which is really interesting because that's, so if you're familiar with Russell Groves, definitely check out neonics and just the impact that neonicotinoids have on water quality, because that's going to be, I think, a really big topic up and coming in the next few years. Also, next Friday, I'll be attending a stakeholder planning committee meeting that's on the nutrient loss reduction strategy. So this we have a group of multiple stakeholders. I went from Kevin Masaryk and Anna Mitchell and Jen McNally and some of those big names go along, big names in water quality from all these different organizations coming together to work with DNR, the new department. If you've met Joe Bonnell, he's come around, he's done a lot of talking. He was at the Packers meeting. Was it the last meeting, right? The last Packers meeting. So he's putting together this stakeholder group to come up with a nutrient loss reduction strategy. And that's all part of the Gulf hypoxia. So everything that comes from the Wisconsin River flows into the Mississippi River, ultimately to the Gulf. So these are larger pools of money. And really exciting stuff. I'm really excited about that group. So despite my last day with the county will be next Friday. So despite that, I intend to continue to support you at Tri-Lakes, the 14 Mile Watershed Alliance, and Packers in grant writing and project implementation in this watershed. So despite that ending, I am here. I'm not going anywhere. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have something else. Maybe Colton can help me out with this regarding Camelot Dam. We normally give updates on that. If you want to just say what's going on with the dam mechanism for the at Lower Camelot, that would be appreciated.
Yeah, so I think it was back in May that Brad had given me a call, and the dam motor and actuator went out, so now they've been manually operating it since. We had an electrician come out on site, thought it was just a bad ground. We had him fix it. At least we thought he had fixed it, and then he kind of left us in the dust, and we haven't heard from him since. So then we had the Dorner Company, who is actually the one that makes the Alma products, the Alma actuator that's in the dam, in all the Tri-Lakes dams. And we had them out on site. He opened up the motor compartment, and it was kind of we could take this back, we can look into it. We don't know if that's the problem or if it's the actuator problem. He gave me a quote recently, and it was, I guess, it was kind of a horse apiece. He could take the motor back to the Dorner Company and look into it, see if that's the issue. Otherwise, just order a whole new actuator. I decided to go the route of a whole new actuator because the motor, once he looked at the serial number, it's a specialized motor. They don't make them anymore, so they would have to get the factory to make the specialized motor to fit the actuator that's on the current dam. So we have a new actuator ordered, which comes with a brand new motor, and this new motor is it would be an easier fix down the road if something were to happen. And I'm just waiting to hear back from Steve from the Dorner Company to know what our timeline is.
Perfect. Any questions at all on what's going on with that?
Thank you.
I just know that,
Oh.
one of the topics that continues to come up is the parking and boat launching and different things on Camelot Dam. And Colton has a solution, but that's something I know that, discussion topic that's of interest to a lot of people.
Are you talking Upper Camelot by the lodge area or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I know there's some rocks in there, or they didn't stay.
Dave, Land and Water Committee will meet I forget when it is in August, and I'm gonna see if I can get that on the agenda. We gotta do something.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Rome pass a resolution that they adopted our ordinance where they can enforce parking on there?
Yes.
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Yeah, and we were, gonna talk to our highway department to see if we can get some signs made, cause I mean, we put signs out there and then 2 days later,
They're gone.
they're gone, yeah.
You're talking by the lodge dam?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no parking signs there, they installed them last week. Or the posts, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the town was gonna put some in there. They got them done, so. Okay.
I
But-
tried that every day, so
Yeah.
there's like 3 signs on one side.
The issue was, 3 weeks ago, I was taking a tour, on a lake there, and they were launching pontoon boats.
You're talking about by
where
that
the-
portage area
By
over
the-
there, yeah.
But, yeah, and there's rocks have been put there, but somehow they managed to move the rocks, and they're launching pontoon boats. I don't know who's responsible now. Colton, because that's county property, would the county be responsible for placing boulders there so they can't launch boats, or?
Right, so you're saying that they moved the boulders that were there?
I,
That they
they-
put out before last week?
I believe so, because they're launching boats there.
Yeah, cause we had our highway department, though, they were the ones that helped us put a few there, I believe. And so I got, yeah, I will come up with a solution.
Bigger rocks.
Check in the winter time, because that's a lot of UTVs use that as an access route
Yeah.
on the ice. So maybe that's where the rock moved. I'm only guessing.
And there's an LCPOA meeting on Saturday too, and I'll bring it up there as a topic. Anything else?
They
All right.
keep putting up the no parking signs, and they disappear. Somebody's taking them down.
Got any cameras?
I don't know.
Just put it out there. Rock should tell you the story. All right, number 14, town update. Mark, do you have anything?
No.
I do. We've invited our attorney, the town did engage an attorney to see what we can do about the solar farm. He's coming up here next Thursday to take a tour of the town, see what we're talking about what we have for conditions here, all the forest and whatnot. We are gonna have a meeting, we're gonna have a closed session meeting with the board members that show up. But I did ask if we can have an open meeting for any residents that want to come on and express their opinions, and he agreed to that. So I'm also going to try and get Scott Krug here, because we got to start coming up with a strategy. Again, these folks have applied for a permit, but we got to see what we can do about slowing them down or, stopping them if possible. But come up with some different ideas and solutions, and anything that sticks, whatever, throw it against the wall, and let's give it a shot and see what works. But
What date is that, Carl?
July 24th at 2 o'clock. So we'll start the meeting at 2. We will post it out there. We'll get the information out there, and we'd really like to have the residents show up and voice their opinions on this. So it's our one shot to do it. The comment period closed for the PSC as of June 27th. I sent in a couple comments, and I did invite them to come up here for a meeting. I doubt if they'll do it. We will demand a meeting with them somehow, somewhere. And if it's not in Madison, as a town, we'll bring buses down there and bring people in and pack it in, let them know about our displeasure of what they're planning on doing, so.
I do have something.
Go ahead.
Just to let everybody know, the town has made an offer to an individual for the zoning administrator. Believe it's been sent to the town's attorney to come up with a contract. but in the very near future, we should have a zoning administrator. And the second thing was, we're very close as far as a town administrator. In the very near future, that job position should be put out to take applications. The tentative date that Public Administration Associates gave us as far as having the town administrator on board is October 20th. It might be sooner. So that's all I got.
Great, thank you. Discussion of possible action on the following items. Number 15, discussion of possible action, approve minutes from Wednesday, June 18th, 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as printed from June 18th, 2025.
I'll second that.
Discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Number 16, discussion of possible action, approve vouchers and financials, upcoming principal payment, late tax payments. Just a thing, I noticed on our report, we're still sitting with about $145,000 in taxes due us from the county. I think it's time to send a letter or send something to somebody and say, you know, we do have late payments come in, but I believe it's usually in the vicinity of $40,000 around this time frame. So
Why are,
I don't know. It's late payments or I don't know. Any ideas?
Okay, if you're talking about, the property taxes versus the specials.
Yep.
The property tax, usually we get that paid in full, whether it was paid by the property owner or not. The specials, is what we get 3 usually payments. I think January, February, and August. And we never get it in full because there are people who don't pay their taxes at all, and then it goes into delinquent, and I get checks
Yeah.
every month for the delinquent taxes.
Yeah, it just seems like a large amount carrying over the 145, if I remember right last year, and we did get a check for around $43,000 last August.
So the amount that we normally have paid in full right away,
Yeah.
January, February, the property taxes that the mill rate levy, I think, that
That is a
was
levy.
not paid in full like it normally is.
Yeah, so, and we'll do some research on it and find out why that's sitting out there. The other thing I just want to let everybody know, we moved $200,000 from our credit line to our money market account. The reason being, when we had the payment due last November and the other one in May for the remainder of the NEO units, we didn't use money from that fund to pay for the NEO units. We used cash on hand because we were sitting on a lot of cash. Didn't make sense to pull money out of a credit account where we'd be paying interest on it. So we pulled $200,000 out of there now to keep our functions going. We're still not $100,000 available on the credit just for the equipment we've already ordered. That in no way even brings down the total credit line of $3 million. We're nowhere near that. There's more machines to order for next year, so we're in good shape. But we just saved a lot of money actually on interest by borrowing the money from ourselves and then not taking it out. We do have an interest payment due. I think it's $143,000. That'll be due in August, so we're pretty well covered on all that. So just a heads up. Anything else?
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers, financials, and the upcoming principal payment, late tax payments.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Number 17, discussion of possible action, skirting for the container unit. We're going to need a recommendation from you guys which one to go with. Thoughts?
We could reach out, like you say, we'll go to Molly or get their input.
All right.
I think it makes sense to make a combination of both options.
How fast do you think they might be able to respond back to you, or do you think they need to make a site visit to look the situation over?
The guy that I've been working with, Sean from there, he's back out of the upper Midwest. He's familiar with it. I don't know if they need a site visit, but I mean, more than whatever they need, we'll make it work.
See the guy that was helping with the turn up and install?
Yes, yeah, he's one of the two guys.
I assume you want to get this done as soon as possible because of the situation you have right now.
Why don't you just, Mike, request that to Sean?
I thought you were back there talking.
Oh, no. just request Sean come over and work directly with you so we can get this thing resolved.
You want to approve it or a conditional approval, or let these
Why
guys
don't-
move forward with it and get that thing going?
I think Sean's got to get over and work with Mike and Mark.
Total cost for a solid skirt would be about $2,900 installed. Total cost for a perforated skirt installed would be about $3,900. They said we can have any combination of that. And so I guess I would ask that maybe the board approve $3,400. It'd be half solid, half perforated. And then the panels can be moved around to whatever works best for the filtering system.
We want to make sure that the panels are usable next year also. It'd be on the dock pieces. If it gets relocated.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just wondering, would those panels have to be removed for the winter?
It makes sense. It's just like some bolts on the top. There's threaded sockets in the dock that I think they would normally be used for like boat tie-ups. We're gonna utilize that so we don't have to make any modifications in the dock. All we do is pull them off and we'll just store them inside the machine during so they don't get damaged. It's the ice shop.
I was just gonna make a motion then to approve the skirting not to exceed $3,900 in total costs, in conjunction with the Sean from Moliere's advice, as well as the advice from Mike and Mark, that to decide which would be the proper skirting to go with, but not to exceed $3,900.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Number 18, discussion of possible action, MOU concerning Heather Gaten's biochar and other activities. Been talking to the county. We're going to have a meeting with the county this afternoon, so we can defer this, I guess, until we talk to the county. So unless, Colton, do you have anything to say on this, or?
Sorry. Yeah, myself and Cynthia requested a meeting with the board to go over a possible MOU for the watershed agronomist position. The grant that we were given, it was supposed to sunset on November 29, 2024, and we were given an extension, and now we have used up all available funds, which is why Heather's last day is next week. We're looking into a possible part-time position as we are in a grant process to possibly get more funds for a full-time position, as the county does not have the current funds to fund a full-time position. So that's kind of what the meeting will be about this afternoon.
Table this?
The grant, I want to clarify, it's not the Sand County Foundation grant.
The grant that we're looking into, it is not, no. It's a different grant for a full-time position.
Okay, thank you. So we'll table?
Table that to next month.
Yep. All right, dates and items for future agenda meetings. Next agenda items.
Meeting date Wednesday, August 20th, 9 a.m.
And if you have any agenda items, please send them in. We'll review them.
How about an update on the containers and the skirting that Mark and Mike want? We have a design, so you guys can tell us, hopefully, what you're going with.
Yeah.
No, late next month.
You know, too, I'm gonna ask Moyer to come in on at least on a Zoom call for that meeting. So if
Okay.
we have questions for him, we can get answers right then and there.
And also an update on the wake boat ordinance.
Yep. Okay. Got it. All right, can I get a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, everybody. We had a nice crowd here.